Welcome back to our devotional series called Now More Than Ever. In this series, we're encouraging one another to remember that God is always at work for our good in every situation, including this situation with the coronavirus. As sinful humans, we can't know exactly how God is at work, but we can look for those places that He's at work. And to help us think through some of those places God might be at work right now, we're asking ourselves, what does God want us to think about during this time? What does He want us to reflect on and do in our daily lives? Today, in our Now More Than Ever series, we're going to ask God to help us trust Him in new ways. You know, we've had a couple of weeks to process this situation now, and over the course of those couple of weeks, I've seen a question start to emerge. That question is this: when will life go back to normal? And I think we would all like to know the answer to that question. I certainly would. As a pastor, right? I've got leaders and members who want to know when life is going to go back to normal, when we'll be able to gather in church again. And because I want to know the answer to that question, I did a little digging to try and figure it out. And if you've done any digging to try and figure it out, you know that it's not exactly easy to figure out. There's some voices that say, we'll get back to life quite quickly, right? In a number of weeks, a month or two at most, we'll be able to put a stop to all this and resume our daily lives. Some voices say, oh, no. This is going to take months and months and months to play out. Some people say, because of the economy, we need to get back to life sooner rather than later. Other people say, well, because of saving lives, we need to save lives, and therefore it's going to be a while till we get back to normalcy. I've come across people who say that the problem in front of us is so great, so astronomical, that life will never be the same after this. And then I've come across other voices, even come across some conspiracy theorists, right, who say there is in fact no problem. This is all a ploy of the shadow cult, the shadow government that has more power than any of the world governments. And this is them flexing their muscles, attempting to throw the world into chaos. You do a little digging and you think to yourself, I just wanted the answer to a simple question. I wanted to know when life is going to go back to normal. It's enough to make your head spin. I'm here today to encourage us to not go down the rabbit hole. Have you heard that phrase before? Here's what it means to go down the rabbit hole, right? It's a metaphor, and when you go down the rabbit hole, you get caught up in the discussion or the argument or the circumstances, and it leads you down a dark hole that's a dead end, and it causes you to be afraid and worried. Right? When we go down the rabbit hole, we end up forming our opinions on the situation, and then we convince ourselves that if this situation doesn't play out exactly the way I think it should, then the whole world is going to come crashing down around us. That's just not true. God is still in control. God is still at work. And so today our encouragement and our challenge, our ask of God is this: Lord, help us to stop going down the rabbit hole. Help us to stop getting caught up in the circumstances. And Lord, simply bring us back to You. Help us to place our trust in You. Help us to remember that You are in control of this situation, just like You're in control of every situation. Our thoughts today come from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Lord, bring us out of the rabbit hole. It's a reminder that we always need, but we especially need it right now. When we trust in our own understanding and in our own intelligence, it has the power to put us in a dark place. It has the power to take us to that dead end and cause us to be worried and afraid. So we need it all the time, but certainly now more than ever. Lord, turn us back to You. Help us to stop relying on our own intelligence, our own trust, our own solutions to the problem, the situation that we face. And Lord, help us to simply trust You with all our hearts. Help us to know that you are in control of this situation. Now more than ever, Lord, help me to trust you with all my heart. God's blessings to each of you. I'll see you soon.